let's unpack this. Serie A has thrown up some absolute crackers recently, hasn't it?
Oh, absolutely. Yeah, we've seen score lines and moments that have, really shaken things up.
The kind of stuff that makes you rethink what you thought you knew about the league's pecking order.
Well, what's fascinating here is how these individual match outcomes are starting to weave a much more complex narrative for the season.
Yeah.
It's not just about who won, but how they won, and maybe what that means going forward.
Exactly. And that's precisely what we're diving into today. We're taking a look at a collection of these recent Serie A clashes, aiming to get beyond just the final whistle and really understand the pivotal moments, what they tell us about the current dynamics.
Sort of hunting for those insights, yeah. The underlying currents.
Right. Those shifts in momentum, tactical approaches, what these results might be signaling for the teams involved, and maybe even their rivals.
Okay, so where do we even start with all this action? There's been quite a bit.
How about we kick off with Cagliari versus Fiorentina? Cagliari looked like they had the upper hand early on.
They did, yeah. Piccoli getting his 9th league goal. Sounds like a proper center forwards goal, putting them ahead.
A real statement giving Cagliari that lift. A classic number 9 finish.
That felt good for them. But Fiorentina, hitting the post twice, that's tough luck.
It really is. But they showed real stubbornness, didn't they? Didn't let their heads drop.
No, and then Gosens pops up with the equalizer, described as a beautiful action, great finish with the outside of the foot. That suggests real quality.
Turning the tide just like that. But it wasn't just the technique, was it?
No, definitely not. For Fiorentina to keep pushing after hitting the woodwork twice, that says a lot about their resilience, their belief.
Yeah, like they knew their approach was right, just needed a bit of luck or that moment of quality.
Exactly. But even at 1-1, there was still drama, wasn't there?
For sure. That controversial penalty shout for Cagliari's Luvumbo.
Yeah, the foul by Pongrasic. The ref, Marinelli, goes over to look.
And Waves play on no penalty. Those are the moments that can completely swing a match, leave one team feeling furious.
They really are. In tight games like that, those marginal calls get magnified, don't they?
So what did that decision say to you?
Well, Marinelli obviously felt the contact wasn't enough, but imagine if it had been given all the pressure back on Fiorentina.
Instead, Fiorentina pushes on. And despite apparently putting in, quote, enormous sacrifice in the first half, Beltran gets the winner.
Another center forward goal, it says here. Shows they can score in different ways, find that crucial goal.
Right. So Fiorentina grinds out a win after 2 straight draws. That feels like a pretty significant step for them, doesn't it? Especially coming from behind.
It really does. It indicates a strong mentality, a good core, to not get discouraged, keep pushing, win on the road. That's the hallmark of an ambitious team.
Okay, let's pivot now. Coppa Italia semifinal. Inter versus Milan. Wow. Wow.
Yeah, 3-0 to Milan. That's a derby result that's going to sting for Inter fans for a long, long time.
Did the match narrative reflect that scoreline, though? Did it feel like a 3-0 game early on?
Well, the early stages suggest Inter actually had their chances. Dimarco hit the crossbar, Lautaro missed a couple.
Okay. So those what-if moments.
Exactly. In these huge derbies, high-stakes games, you have to take those chances. Clinical finishing, or the lack of it, is often decisive.
And Milan, on the other hand.
Seemed like they just took their opportunities. Ruthless efficiency. Jović grabs the opener.
And then he gets another. Suddenly he's the hero. How do you think those goals shifted the psychological balance?
Oh, massively. Scoring twice in a derby like that, especially after Inter had maybe started okay, that injects huge confidence into Jović, into the whole Milan side.
Must have unsettled Inter, too.
Definitely. Forces them to chase the game, maybe open up a bit more, which Milan could then exploit.
And then Reijnders adds the third, seals it. Milan are off to the final in Rome. It's a resounding victory.
It really is. So what's the bigger takeaway here, do you think, for both clubs?
Well, for Milan, it's got to be a massive confidence boost, right? A clear statement. Reaching the final, winning a derby so convincingly that can galvanize a team.
Absolutely. And for Inter, it's a big setback. Raises questions, maybe, about performing under pressure in those crucial moments. Could even impact their league form psychologically.
Yeah, you have to think it might. Okay, moving on. Torino against Udinese.
Right. A pretty comfortable 2-0 win for Torino, it seems.
And Adam's scoring again. He seems to be a real bright spark for them this season.
He does. And his goal came from an Udinese defensive error. Involved the keeper, Odoko.
Yeah. Sounds like it. Highlights how crucial sharpness is at both ends, doesn't it? You have to punish those mistakes.
Definitely. And then Dembele gets his first goal for Torino, assisted by Soleil, described as a gift.
You love to see a player get their first goal. That must feel great for him and the team. But what does it say about Udinese conceding like that?
Well, it points to maybe a lack of cohesion, maybe low confidence at the back for Udinese. To concede a goal called a gift suggests a big lapse.
And it's their 5th consecutive defeat. That really underlines their struggles, doesn't it?
It paints a worrying picture, yeah. Meanwhile, Torino seemed to be solidifying that 10th spot.
What's been the key for them, do you think? Their consistency.
Often it's about having a solid defensive base, a clear game plan. And if they're adding goals now, like with Adams' form and Dembele chipping in, they can really cement that mid-table place. Maybe even look up.
Okay, now for one that really stood out, Parma versus Juventus.
Wow, yeah. This result, Parma fighting for survival, beating Juventus. How did that happen?
Well, Juventus had an early chance, Locatelli apparently, but Parma got the lead through Pellegrino's header.
And then they held on. That suggests some really disciplined defending and a keeper having a good day.
The notes mention the Parma goalkeeper making vital saves. You just can't underestimate that, can you? Facing down Vlahovic, Cambiaso, Ildiz.
Absolutely not. A confident keeper making big saves that lifts the whole team, frustrates the opposition, and for Parma to inflict Tudor's first defeat as Juve manager, that's a huge scalp.
Sends a message, doesn't it? We're not going down without a fight. Even teams in transition, like Juve under Tudor, are vulnerable.
It definitely throws a bit of a spanner in the works for Juventus and their Champions League qualification hopes. This loss could have ripple effects.
Yeah, it injects more uncertainty into that race for the top spots. And for Parma, just massive.
Huge. Not just 3 points, it's the psychological boost. Proving to themselves they can go toe-to-toe with the league's giants. That's invaluable in a relegation scrap.
Okay, one more. Genoa versus Lazio.
A 2-0 away win for Lazio. But it sounds like it wasn't straightforward. Red cards involved.
Yeah, it seems Genoa started brightly. Mandas, the Lazio keeper, had to make some key saves early on against Pinamonti.
Okay, so Genoa were up for it initially. But then, Ochoa gets sent off. On his Serie A debut.
Yep. Foul on Zaccagni, 21 minutes into his debut. Red card. That's just brutal for the player. And a game changer for Genoa.
Completely shifts the dynamic, doesn't it? Going down to 10 men so early against a team like Lazio puts you right behind the 8 ball.
And then Castellanos scores what's described as a crazy goal, an acrobatic volley.
Moments of individual brilliance. They can unlock games, especially when you have a man advantage.
Then Dia adds a second for Lazio, assisted by Rivella. Looked like game over.
Pretty much. Although Lazio then got a red card themselves late on, Milan sent off.
Right. So they finished with 10 men too, but they held on for a vital away win.
That second consecutive away victory, huge for their Champions League hopes. And ending Genoa's unbeaten home run in 2025. That's significant.
It really underscores their resilience, doesn't it? Ability to capitalize when the opponent makes a mistake, like the red card. Winning away consistently is crucial if you're aiming for Europe.
And doing it against a team that was strong at home, like Genoa, makes it even more impressive.
So just to quickly recap then, we've had Fiorentina digging deep to beat Cagliari, Milan stunning Inter in the Cup Derby, Torino looking solid against a struggling Udinese,
Parma pulling off that major shock against Juventus, and Lazio getting a crucial feisty win away at Genoa. A real mixed bag.
What's striking, I think, is the unpredictability across these matches. Teams at different ends of the table capable of causing upsets.
Yeah, it really highlights how competitive Serie A is right now. Suggests you just can't take any game for granted, can you?
Absolutely not. We've seen individual brilliance, like Castellanos' goal. We've seen defensive errors punished, like in the Torino game. We've seen momentum shifts.
Within games and across the league picture, yeah. It feels like the landscape is constantly evolving.
And these results, they'll have consequences, won't they? Not just for the table, but for morale, for tactics in the coming weeks.
Definitely. Teams that lost unexpectedly will be desperate to bounce back. Those who pulled off surprises will want to build on it.
So here's something to mull over, maybe. Looking back at all these results we've just talked about, which one do you think might have the biggest long-term ripple effect on the rest of the Serie A season?
That's a good question.
Is it Parma's win sparking a great escape? Or maybe Milan's derby triumph pushing them towards something bigger? These games have certainly given us plenty to think about for the final standings.